Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fans React. This is episode 13 now. Unlucky for some, but I think we're really lucky to have Dan Humphreys on here, regular on the show. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
No worries, no worries. If you like what you see during this podcast, we have left his Twitter account on there. Go and give him a follow. But anyway, we'll get straight on to the questions. Dan Humphrey, you are a regular, like I said, on the channel. You know Matthew Reid, I believe. You're good friends. What made you actually get involved with the channel? And tell us a little bit about what you actually do on the channel as well, please.
Yeah, so I first found out about it through Matthew, actually. Me and Matthew have we've been good mates now for four or 5 years. We actually met on holiday. That's a different story. But he was telling me about the reactions, and I love talking about Sunderland. You know, it's my main passion. It's my main focus in life, really. You know, so yeah, he was doing some of them, and he was trying to get me involved. I was skeptical at first, but then I watched a few of the videos, so I subscribed, and yeah, I loved it because I think it's fascinating hearing people's different views of watching the same game, because we all have different opinions, and everyone's entitled to, and I found it fascinating to see how it affects everyone else. So yeah, I got involved, and yeah, since then I've loved it.
Yeah, totally agree about different perspectives. Like after the last game, I was absolutely livid, and some of the people's reactions were like, "Excellent, we played really well." I'm like, "What I must have watched something else." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it does go to show we have a different perspective. So I think you're right. Yeah, that's what makes it interesting, getting the fans' reactions. You are also a Mackem down south, I believe, as well. So you're not far from me. You're in Essex as well, is that right?
No, I'm in Berkshire, actually. So
right.
Bit nearer, the other side, I guess. So I live near sort of Ascot, Windsor, around there.
Excellent. So you do a show called Mackems Down South on this channel with Matthew. That's going really well. I enjoy watching them. How do you feel that's going, and do you enjoy it?
Yeah, I love doing it. Matthew, he's a top guy. I think we get on so well because we're so similar, and our passion for something. Because obviously down here, don't have many. I don't have any mates that are Sunderland fans that went to school with or anything really. So yeah, we're fortunate to have each other down here, I guess. And I love doing the show. You know, we did one yesterday for the first time in a couple of weeks, and I've missed it, to be honest. But yeah, it was good to do it again. I love doing it. Yeah, he's a top guy.
Yeah, he is a top guy, definitely. I like watching. We do the quiz on the pre-match live shows. When he gets one right, nobody else does. He's like so excited, like he's so passionate that he got it right. You can see he's very competitive. I find it quite funny. He's an absolutely top lad, though, and as yourself, it's great to have so many young Sunderland fans coming through and being involved with the channel. So it's all good. Obviously, with us living down south, I mean, I've been down here 7 years. You've been there your whole life, I presume. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you get a chance to go to many games in a normal season when we actually are able to go to the matches?
Yeah, me and my dad are season ticket holders. So
brilliant.
We go. We don't actually go to that many home games, if I'm honest, but I'd probably say more than half of the away games I went to. I think last season before COVID, I went to about 12 or 13 away games.
Yeah.
And a few home games, because obviously, and also my grandparents live about an hour away from Sunderland, North Yorkshire. So if we go to a home game, we normally visit them. Obviously, COVID, you can't do that, and we're not going to games anyway, so it's a big shame. But yeah, it's quite nice to go and see them almost before the match. Go and watch the match if it's like afternoon or evening. And then after we go back, stay over, spend some time with them as well. So yeah, it's quite nice actually.
Good. I was going to ask you if you had any sort of match day ritual. I know me, because I don't get up that very often either. When I get up there, I meet up with my family. We have some beers. I always get a burger before I go in, and then a few beers after as well. And I usually spend a few days up there because it's not very often I get to see them. So that's my ritual. Do you have a particular thing that you like to do before you go in or after the game?
So yeah, well, we normally drive to most games. My dad likes driving there. So, but we always meet Matthew pretty much most of the games we go to, and his dad Paul as well. So we have probably a drink or two before the game with them actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I normally sit with Matthew as well. most games. We actually have an unfortunate streak at the moment. The games we've gone together and sat next to each other, we've actually lost. We haven't actually won yet. Last season, we lost every game that we were sitting next to each other. But yeah,
you're gonna have to stop going, mate. You're gonna have to stop going.
whenever I'm just by myself and my dad, we always win as well. It's actually quite funny, but
yeah. So it's your fault, right? We'll remember that. Everybody, it's Dan and Matthew's fault. Even if you just try it with like a couple of seats apart, you never know, we might get a draw.
Well, COVID, that might be the case. So
yeah, well, if we ever get back in the grounds, I'm hoping. I don't think anything's going to happen this season. Maybe next season at a push we might get there. It all depends on if this vaccine works, I suppose. So anyway, how have you been coping with this lockdown? Has it affected you much? Are you coping okay?
I mean, I think we're a lot fortunate than there's a lot of other people struggling. We're lucky, like we have a good space, we have a nice garden, we can go out like for a walk regularly if you want. So yeah, I'm all right. We're doing all right. I'm going to college still. Obviously, I'm in year 12, so I'm doing online school. But I've quite enjoyed online school actually, because I think it's quite nice to see faces. Obviously, you don't see anyone at the moment, but I quite like interacting with even just teachers and other students, just checking on them, seeing if they're doing all right. And yeah, I've been doing my A levels, so I quite enjoy them actually at the moment. It's been pretty good actually.
Excellent, good. You've got to do something to keep yourself busy, and as you say, at least we've got this interaction. I mean, years ago, if this was happening in the 60s, 50s, or whatever, can you imagine? There's no interaction whatsoever. We can't even do this sort of stuff. So at least, like you say, my parents live in the northeast. They live in Washington, my hometown, and I can just pick my phone up anytime I want and have a video call with them. I think we sometimes take that for granted that we can actually do that. So
yeah,
it is. It is
just very fortunate because I've got siblings. I've got a brother and a sister living with us, so we've got 5 of us in the house. So we can always, even though we do get on each other's nerve, it's still entertaining to have someone to mess around with or like play foot with my brother or playing outside or something. But
yeah, definitely. So can you remember? Well, basically, the question I want to ask you first, it's number one on here, the first really Sunderland-related question. I want to know your first, your worst, and your best Sunderland moment, being a fan of Sunderland. So if there's one that comes to mind, you don't have to do them in that order. As long as you can give us your first, your worst, and your best, go for it.
So my first memory, actually, it was, I think, the 2009-10 season. And I'm pretty sure my first game was Barrow at home in the FA Cup. I think we won 3-0.
All right.
So I think that was my first game. But then I remember also that season I went to I think it was 4-2 against Wigan. Maybe Jordan Henderson scored 2 goals. I'm pretty sure. And that was my first like proper memory. I remember that game vividly, and that was a very enjoyable day because I think we played really well, and it was just great memories, that one. So yeah, that was probably my first proper memory home game. All the crowd there, great atmosphere. That sort of introduced me to the Sunderland life, I guess.
Yeah.
And so worst, a few of them.
I was going to say you got quite a selection to choose from, haven't you?
I'll have to probably go the last minute up against Charlton at Wembley.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been so disappointed. That split second between them, we can see it going in the back of the net, and like the silence, and then seeing their fans go into absolute pandemonium. I mean, it was just devastating. I was almost shocked because I was just so disappointed and angry at the performance on that day as well.
Yeah,
because we didn't deserve to win, if I'm honest with you, and we were just sort of we got given a goal as well. They completely, I think, deserved it, and at the end of the day, but it was so disappointing. More than, I wasn't exactly crying my eyes out, but I was just more angry and just frustrated with how we didn't show up on that day. So that was quite a bad memory.
Yeah. I think for a lot of fans, I mean, especially my generation, it's happened to us twice. It's just absolutely horrendous. I don't ever want to see Sunderland at Wembley, especially against Charlton. So we can scrap that.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad obviously would look on to that game. He didn't have good memories of that either. And then what was the best memory? it's good. There's quite a few of them as well, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Probably go. There was a good. We beat Fulham 4-1 quite a few years ago now in the Premier League. I think Alan Johnson actually scored a hat trick, and I think Key scored as well. Maybe that was a great win. That one. Absolutely battered them 4-1 at Fulham. I love going to Fulham as well. It's a nice away day. It's not far from me, like probably less than an hour, to be honest. I think that was an enjoyable day, and also probably the happiest moment I'd probably say is when McGeady equalised in the checker trade. I've never seen it. I've never experienced anything like that before. I mean, that's probably one of the happiest moments ever in my life, if I'm honest. The fact that we thought it was all over after Jamal Lowe scored, and then Wyke chested it down to McGeady and he put it in. And honestly, that was mental. I was hugging random people. I didn't even know who they were. It was absolute carnage. The sound on that day as well. After that, it was amazing. Obviously, it didn't end off in the best way, but penalties are penalties at the end of the day, I guess.
There's nothing you can do. It's just like luck of the draw with the penalties. And I was at that game. I was at that game as well. I was doing the same random people. I mean, years ago, you'll obviously not remember this, but when I used to go to Roker Park as a young lad, when Sunderland scored, it was always like that because I was in the standing then generally, so people were just surrounding you and you just jumping around with people you'd never know. And sometimes you would end up having a drink with them after the game, you know what I mean? Because you just got talking to them because you'd been hugging them, you know, it's total strange. I do
Brilliant.
There's some fantastic moments and there's some good things about standing, but obviously I don't think that's coming back anytime soon.
Nah. It's a shame, really. I miss it a lot. You know, I think it's brilliant. I just like everyone's singing, everyone. It's just all for 90 minutes. Just everything's forgotten about. You know, it all matters about what's happening. I just love the camaraderie as well between all the fans. I think it's brilliant. A lot of people say get enjoyment out of say like choirs and stuff like that, but I think it's almost similar because we're singing. We all want the best for the team, and we all win it together, I guess. And I think it's just whenever I go, I cherish. And after this, I'll cherish it even more, you know, because it'll be lucky to get back in anytime soon. But I think it'll be amazing. The moment, if it does happen, I mean, we'll never take it for granted again.
Yeah, I think it's opened up a lot of people's eyes to how important the actual football is to them. They don't realise it. It's like anything, until it's taken away from you, you just think, it's like, I remember years ago, this is like totally nothing related to football, but years ago, when I was about 18-year-old, I had my own flat and the toilet broke and nobody could come out and fix it. And like all the time, I just thought, toilet to toilet. But when you haven't got one, it's a big deal. Do you know what I mean? And I think in a way, I'm trying to sort of associate the two together. When you haven't got Sunderland, you really do miss it because, I mean, even like you say, if we get beat, we have a bad game. After the game, everybody that's coming out of the stadium, that's a Sunderland fan, is feeling the same way as you. So it's a bit of a family thing, isn't it? It's a community. We're all feeling the same shit and the same highs at the same time, don't we? Right. So anyway, we've already mentioned you live down south. Do you think that has any pros or cons of being a Sunderland fan?
I've obviously got a few cons. Obviously, it's a long journey, but I quite like the journey. You know, it's different. I mean, seeing everyone else up there, obviously, it'd be great to live up there. Matthew obviously goes on about he wants to live up there in the future. I might be similar, to be honest, because I love spending time up there. The people, it's just such a great atmosphere, great people. It's a lovely place to visit. But so I guess it's quite far away, but I feel like it almost makes it more. You always cherish it more because of how much time it takes to get there, and like you're dedicating that day or that weekend to the game. So it's quite a nice. If you win, it's the best journey ever. If you lose, it's the worst journey you've ever had in your life. But I guess it's still all right. And then there's a lot of back when you're actually in the Premier League, it was probably quite beneficial because there's a lot of more southern teams, like Chelsea, Fulham, West Ham, all them. So there's a lot more away games you could get to. Southampton, went to Southampton a lot of times. But even to be honest with you, even recently since we've been League One, and me and my dad have been going to a lot more games. We even go to the Northern games now, really, like Doncaster we went to last year, place like that. So to be honest, wherever I live, I feel like I'd still go and watch anyway. So I don't think it has too much of a difference in terms of actually going to games.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There's the one of the biggest pros I find is if we do get beat, because years ago, obviously, when I was up there, we were in the Premiership playing terrible. I work with a lot of Newcastle supporters. I don't have to worry about Newcastle supporters trying to take the piss out of us. I mean, look, I'm a big boy; I can cope with it. Don't get us wrong, but it's still great not to have that. You know, you go to work and everybody laughing because you've played terrible again. You know what I mean? So that's one of the cons. But yeah, I agree. I think I've got a lot in Essex. My job's here, which I really sort of enjoy sometimes. Anyway, I've got my kids here, my girlfriend, and I would never move away from here now. I don't think unless I can get to retire. My kids have grown up. I might retire up there when I'm.
That's what my dad always says. Yeah. Well, once we're gone, you go and get a dog and live up there.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, because your houses are cheap there. You know what I mean? The cost of living is definitely cheap. I mean,
up there as well. So
sorry.
My dad grew up in South Shields, so he's from up there, so I think he loves it as well.
Yeah, to be honest, I love South Shields. When I do go up there, especially if it's warmer months, I always go to South Shields. I like to go to Coleman's Chippy. I go there every time. It's just the best fish and chip shop on the planet, in my opinion. And it's got a nice coast. It's got nice beaches, things to do there with kids and stuff. So I always head up that way when I pay a visit. Right, let's move on a little bit more. We've got our next question is, what is your favourite Sunderland player of all time that you obviously in your lifetime that you can remember? Who would you say that was?
Oh,
and why?
If it was the time playing for Sunderland, I'd definitely go Jermaine Defoe, because I mean, he was just absolute class act on and off the pitch.
Yeah,
he was definitely my favourite player, and what he did with Bradley, I mean, he didn't have to do any of that. You know, he went out of his way, and the sheer love and like support and care he had for him and his family, I thought was just lovely and beautiful. And I was at actually we used to have Club Wembley tickets at Wembley, so I used to watch all the England games, and we were actually at the game where he walked out with Bradley. They led the England team out, and Defoe scored, and when Bradley was there, and that was just a beautiful moment, actually. But in terms of, I'd probably have to go Jordan Henderson. If it was a player now I love to watch, I think I just absolutely love watching him. He's such a good leader. You know, he's such a good professional.
Yeah,
I love watching Liverpool play, but I was so happy they did well because of him. You know, Sunderland boy through and through, and watching him come through the ranks and then obviously make the big move to Liverpool. Honestly, I love him. But yeah, it's a tough one between Hendo and Jermaine Defoe, but I'd probably have to go Henderson in terms of my favourite player. Yeah, who's played for Sunderland anyway. Yeah.
I think any Sunderland fan couldn't really argue with either of them. Jordan Henderson has done exactly what every young Sunderland boy wants to do. You know what I mean? It's like the perfect dream. What he's achieved is incredible. Even though I don't think he was fantastically amazing when he was at Sunderland, but he's gone on to be even better, hasn't he? So yeah, I can't really fault that.
He's so important for Liverpool as well. Whenever he's injured or not playing, or he's playing in defence because they've had centre back problems, you can tell the difference. That he turns all the cogs. You know, he gets them all firing. You need him in the centre of the park to ensure that the attackers get all the through balls, and he's leading everyone, because without him, they're half the team they are. Honestly, he makes such a big difference, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I don't think any Sunderland fan wouldn't have him back, surely. Do you know what I mean? As for Jermaine Defoe as well, I absolutely love that fella. I swear, I think no matter how old you are, whether you're an 80-year-old Sunderland fan or like your age, whatever, I think most Sunderland fans, what can you say bad about him? Do you know what I mean? He scored fantastic goals with a very poor team. He created his own chances. He was professional. He was super fit, and I'm sure me and Matthew spoke about this on one of the shows, that he could come back now. He's super fit. He could get into any championship team, at least probably some Premiership teams. So I don't think anybody could knock you for picking him either.
Yeah, he's brilliant. I'll probably say he's the best. He's probably the best player I've seen.
Yeah, easily. Right, so we've said current. We've said past. What's your favourite current player and why, mate?
Oh, it's got to be one man. He's on the back of my shirt right now, actually.
Go on, I don't see it.
Luke.
Oh, you go on. You've said it. Luke 09, is it?
He's there.
Yeah.
Luke 09. Oh, I absolutely love him.
Yeah.
I've met him many a time, and I remember Peterborough away. Not last year, the year before, right at the end of the first season in League One, I think it was.
Yeah.
I was actually in the sitting next to Alex Ferguson on that day because it was my birthday present. Me and my dad got tickets in the box at Peterborough, so it was a great day, that one, actually.
Wow.
It would have been better if we didn't concede in the last minute. But after the game, we went round the back of the coach, and his whole family was there. Luke's whole family, and his mum, his dad, and his I think his sister and his sister's boyfriend. And he immediately stopped, and just came over to us, and he chatted for us for about 20-30 minutes. He was asking about me, like where I was from, what I do, and all that. And I've never seen that from a footballer ever. You know, footballers can be nice and go like, oh yeah, here I, oh, they're signing someone, and they're straight off on the bus. But he honestly, like, everyone else was already on the bus, and he was just standing there like talking to us. And he's the ultimate professional as a footballer, as a person. I think he's just brilliant, and you can't doubt his performances on the pitch either, because whenever he plays, he gives 110%, and I think we've missed him so much this season as well.
Yeah, we mentioned that on the live stream, missing him and Hume. I think they've been a big miss in the team. As for him being as a professional, I think you're totally right. He's a very rare. It's rare to see young footballers with that sort of character and class now. I think a lot of them are either pampered or they believe they're too important. You know, the agents get them believing that they're worth £1 million. You know what I mean? Like it's a very rare thing. He seems just so genuine. I've never actually met him or spoken, but he just seems really genuine. And even when he's fell over into the Portsmouth fans when they started kicking him, he didn't react. You know, he just got up and walked away. So yeah, totally agree with that. Proper professional. Go on, mate.
I was just going to say, he's I listened to a podcast the other day, actually. He's just starting a podcast with another guy. I don't know who he was, but it was honestly fascinating to hear like what he's gone through as well.
Mm-hmm.
Starting out at Watford, they got promoted to the Premier League, got released. You know, he was out of a club, and he's saying he's going to work harder than anyone else. He was working hard with his dad every day in the summer to get that move, and obviously he got the trial at Wycombe, and then even after getting the move up here, he was on the bench. I think he was saying he played the first game of the season against Charlton, got subbed off at half time because he was awful. He said it himself, and like he was nearly on the verge of actually leaving in January, that first season in League One, because he wasn't getting game time. He wasn't Jack Ross's favourite player. But, you know, he said a bit of luck and hard work. He said he's the hardest worker in the team. You know, they do practice before and after training, and it just shows that hard work pays off, because I'm a changed player, and he's just brilliant.
Yeah, I think that philosophy works in anything in life. If you want to be good, you want to be the best, then you've just got to practice, be the professional, and it does work. I mean, for me, I'd love to actually sit down and have a chat with him. You know what I mean? One day I might get him on a video. You never know. But yeah, I think he's brilliant. You can't fault him one bit. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. We'll just slightly away from Sunderland here. Do you have any other teams? Obviously, with you being down south, do you have any other teams that you have a soft spot for, you like to follow, or any other sports that you love to watch? If let us know about
that. I'm a massive cricket fan, so I play for my team. Yeah, play second 11 for a team called Binfield, about 10 minutes from me. So every Saturday I play league cricket. My whole family plays cricket. My dad was a good player when he was younger, so he still plays. My brother plays for county. He's a great player, to be honest. A bit jealous of him. And then my sister also played as well. My sister used to play for Berkshire and Hampshire as well. So yeah, we're pretty cricket mad. In the summer, I'm playing 2 to 3 games a week, if I'm honest. Saturday league, Sunday friendly, and then midweek we might have T20 under 19s sort of game. So yeah, that's a massive part of our lives as well. Started playing men's cricket when I was year 7, so I think I was 11 or 12. Since then, I think last season was my 5th season as an adult player. So yeah, it was brilliant. It's playing with my dad back in the day. Obviously, I've gone a bit up through the teams because we have 5 teams. But when I started, we actually only had 3. So I was playing in the 3s, and I've progressed up to the 2s, the 1s, and I'm cementing my place. But it's just great playing with your mates, your family. It's just it's a nice sociable event. You have a drink after. And yeah, I love playing cricket in the summer as well. But yeah, that's probably my main other sport or thing I do. I'm a fan of Surrey, so I watch Surrey play. If I watch anyone, but other than that, I don't really have any other like football teams or anything really. Obviously, I watch England cricket as well. They're actually playing at the moment in Sri Lanka, doing pretty well.
I was going to ask you if it's still playing. So they're managing to play under these restrictions and things like that. Yeah, are you managing to get like game time as well, like practicing or?
So yeah. We had a half a season in the summer. So we played, because normally you play every team twice. We just played every team once. Right. And there was different protocols in place, like washing your hands, like sanitizing your hands every 6 overs, I think it was, or 20 minutes or something. But actually, we were quite lucky to get in a good amount of cricket in the summer this season. So yeah, it was because you couldn't really do much else. It was sort of the time where there was a few rules had been relaxed, but you couldn't do, like, you'd see the most people if you were playing cricket, because you got like, even just seeing like opposition, like other people, because it had been so long without seeing just another few faces. And yeah, I just loved it, because after the game, we were in like groups of 6 and stuff, but you're allowed to still talk, obviously socially distanced. But yeah, I feel like that really helped us get through the tough year, actually.
Yeah, good. Everybody needs something. I've watched little bits of cricket with my dad. My dad enjoys watching it. I played a bit of skill, but I wasn't very good. To be honest with you, I do struggle with it sometimes. I quite like the 2020. I think that's a bit easier to watch, a bit more interesting, quicker, and things like that. But everybody's different, and everybody likes. I love Formula One. Some people can't stand it. You know what I mean? So
it's interesting, because I'd probably say I prefer playing cricket to football. But I definitely prefer going to a Sunderland match than watching the cricket match.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just quite interesting.
Yeah, my dad's been to a cricket match before. He said it was brilliant, like because you can just drink in the stands, can't you? Well, you couldn't then anyway.
Yeah, a lot of people just. I'm honest. A lot of people just play for the social aspect as well. I mean, there's a lot of bad players I've seen that just love, but it's great, because even if they're not the best at cricket, they're just, as long as they're enjoying it, getting outside, doing a bit of exercise, having a drink after the game, it's just great. You make new friends. It's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've got a bit of lag kicking in, haven't we? Because I think there's a bit of a gap between your finishing and me speaking. I don't know if it's just me at this end. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. We'll crack on with it. Next question, mate. So how do you think Sunderland's season's going so far, mate? If you would give it a rating on how you think it's going.
It's not been the best season, if I'm honest. I feel like we started off well, kept some clean sheets. And obviously Parky, I was never a Parky fan, if I'm honest. We struggled under him, and obviously he got rid. But I like Lee Johnson. He was my favourite choice. I think he's picked it up a bit, but still, I don't think it's been a very successful season. And I think the best we're likely to get is the playoffs. I don't think we're getting the top 2, but I do think we probably will get in the playoffs. But as for Johnson, I see him as like a long term sort of option. I think he'll be almost, if you give him time, I think he can get rid of the players in the summer, because a lot of out of contracts, and I think he can rebuild. As for the season so far, probably probably about a 5 or 6 out of 10. If I'm honest, it hasn't been awful, but it just hasn't been great. If I'm honest,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. Fair enough. If I was to give you, I ask this question to everybody as well. If I was to give you £1,000, mate, and say go to the bookies, are you old enough to place a bet yet? Because I think Matthew wasn't when I asked him.
I'm younger. I'm a year younger than Matthew, so yeah.
All right. Well, see if you were 18 and I says, "There's £1,000. Go to the bookies. Tell us when you think Sunderland's going to be back in the Premiership. What would you put it on?"
I reckon next season we get promoted from League One. I don't think this season. If you give Johnson time, players, a bit of money next season, I reckon we will get promoted. And then Championship's a tough league, you know. I don't think it'll be. It's not easy to get out of that either. It's going to be a completely. If we do get promoted, be a complete real rebuild of players because there's only a few players that I think be able to play in the Championship that we've got at the moment. So if I was betting man, I'd probably say another year in League One, about 4 or 5 years in the Championship, if I'm being honest. So I'd probably say about 6 years, 7 years, maybe.
Yeah, it's a very realistic.
If I'm being realistic,
target,
obviously, I want to.
Sorry.
So
yeah, it's cutting in. There's definitely a delay here, but yeah, I totally agree with that. I think 7 years is. I want to see it 2-3 seasons, but I think in reality, like you see, getting a championship, getting a team that's good enough to win the championship is a long way from where we currently are at the moment. We'll go on to the next question before this sort of cuts off or goes terrible. We are playing Ipswich next away. Would you change anything with the team or the formation, or would you start somebody that hasn't started? What would you do for that game?
I'll probably keep it the same. I haven't been impressed with people who came off the bench. Maguire's been very poor this season. Winchester, I haven't really made up my mind about him yet because we've got to give him time. But again, if he's going to play in the same role as Ledbetter, I think Ledbetter's got to start over him. So yeah, maybe change McFadzean. But then again, there's not really anyone else to put instead of him. I think he's been pretty poor. You could maybe play Sanderson at left back, maybe give him a go there. May as well see how he goes because I do not rate McFadzean at all. I think he's been pretty bad. But other than that, I think the front three, McGeady's not quite reached his heights yet, but got a nice assist yesterday. But Diamond as well. I don't know about him. You could maybe start give someone else a go. Maybe Embleton, even though I'm not his biggest fan either. Just maybe try switch that position because I feel like that's a position that we need to strengthen anyway. But other than that, I'd keep it pretty similar.
Yeah, I think Matthew mentioned the same thing on the live stream. There's not much you can really change it with anyway, even if you wanted to. Like, we haven't got a great deal of options. So yeah, I'll be happy with that team, and I think you're probably right. That's probably the team that will start against Ipswich. Give us a prediction for that game, mate. How do you think it's going to go?
I went 1-0 yesterday on our show with Matthew, so I'll stick with 1-0 because I think I'm never going to predict a loss or maybe a draw sometimes, but I do believe away from home, obviously we haven't lost yet. So Ipswich, they didn't impress me when we played them earlier in the season, really. Obviously they got a red card, which we were fortunate, but still, they didn't stand out to me. Whereas someone like the likes of Portsmouth, who I thought were completely better than us. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Sunderland. I'm going to go Wyke again to get his 12th of the season.
Yeah, well, nobody can really say that it's a ridiculous thing anymore. When somebody suggested Wyke's gone in the past, it was like, what? But he's proven everybody everybody wrong. He's proved me wrong because I thought I was even saying he shouldn't be here. Get him gone. Do you know what I mean? Like he was really. I mean, even now, even though he's scoring the goals, I think he's not a very good footballer. I don't think he's playing amazing at all. But he's doing what he gets paid to do. It's what I said on the live stream as well. He's a striker that's scoring goals, and as long as he does that, then he can stay as long as he wants. Really, if we get the championship and he does it, he'll stay. If he gets the Premiership and he's banging in 15, 20 goals a season, then he's worth keeping. I can't see that happening, but yeah, you never know. Right. I'm going to ask you one question, the last question, which I ask everybody. It's the Sunderland Hate League table. I don't know if you know what this is, but basically, I ask everybody, out of every single player and manager in any league ever, who would you say you hate the most or really dislike the most?
I was thinking about it earlier actually because I knew this would be coming. Obviously, I've watched the last ones before, but for me, there's only one man, and it's Mr. David Moyes. I just ever since he came in, I could not stand the bloke.
Right.
I mean, he was
so. Go on, mate. Sorry.
I was just going to say he was the most negative and just tasteful bloke I've ever seen in my life. I just the way he dealt with us and the players, and after about, what was it, 2 games, he basically said we're in a relegation fight, almost sort of saying we're going to get relegated. And he not at one point did it ever look like he was going to pull it back or do something to change it. It was just constant down. And he's also the way he does his interviews as well. I think he just comes across really rude and not interested. And I think it just seems to me like quite a nasty bloke, if I'm honest. And obviously, what he did to us, he completely screwed us over. So yeah, it's an easy one for me. I can't stand David Moyes.
Yeah, that's fair enough. This is the actual league table. So as you can see, Joey Barton is kicking butt on this table. He's got 7 votes. But now we have a second place, a proper second place. David Moyes with 2 votes. Steve Evans, Jack Rodwell, Gordon Taylor, and Alan Shearer. I'm sure quite a few of them will get more votes in the future. So yeah, I'll get that table changed. I like to have a guess at who I think the person's going to pick, and I went with this guy. I thought he's going to run away with it. I think Dan's going to pick Joey, but no.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have actually been in my list really, because don't get me wrong, I don't like him, but I kind of commend the way he detracts from like his players and his club, and he makes it all about him to sort of wind us up. And I feel like as a manager, he's quite clever, and almost deliberately he like throws out the bait for us to try and react. But like, don't get me wrong, I can't stand him, but I do kind of not respect him, but appreciate like his sort of smartness, sort of, in a way. It's a weird one because I feel like he would actually be a decent manager for a lot of teams. But yeah.
Yeah, I think for example, with me, I think I'd pick him, and the reason I really dislike him is because he's supposed to be a manager. I mean, I know he's trying to get inside the heads of the fans or whatever he's trying to do, but he's supposed to be a professional. And when he's coming out with things like Sunderland scoring like they've just won the cup against little old Fleetwood, to me that's belittling Fleetwood for a start, which is the team. And he's just trying to wind us up. And to be honest, most Sunderland fans couldn't care less about him, but because he's doing that, because he's trying to get under our skin, people just think he's I'm trying not to swear on my own channel, but people just think he's a complete wankstein, don't they? So yeah, I totally dislike him. But yeah, anyway, that's it. We've got the league table. I will get that updated. I always ask as well before we go, is there anything else you want to say before we end it?
No, I'll just say I've really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on. It's been great doing these being part of the channel. I think it's a great channel. Everyone puts in a shift. Everyone gets their view across in different ways. And as I said earlier, I think I love watching the reactions of everyone, because even though we've watched the same game, like no two reactions are exactly the same. You know, someone might have thought Scowen or someone was brilliant, and someone might have thought it was terrible. But I think it's just great to compare the different views. So yeah, long may it continue, and credit to yourself and credit to everyone else for the shift and grind that we're putting in.
Excellent. Appreciate that. I think everybody that comes on the show has been doing a fantastic job. There's so many things I'm enjoying about it, with my starting 11, these FanCasts, getting you guys on. I feel like I get to know you a little bit more after having you on here as well. So there's that, and he does his pre-match.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
He's brilliant. Jack Dodds, it was I think it was his and Matthew's idea to do the live stream. And what I like about that is it's done before the game, because a lot of people do it after or during. This is before the game, so you can get the team news out to the people that's watching. I did actually, when he first gave us the idea, I was like, should we not do it after the game? I said that to Jack, and he was like, no, I'll do it before, because that's what a lot of people are just waiting around for the game, looking at Twitter, stuff like that. So he was spot on. He's done that well. Hold my hands up with that. So yeah, the channel's going fantastic. Thanks to everybody that's been involved. I'll say thanks again to you, Dan. If anybody wants to follow Dan on Twitter, there is his Twitter handle there, Dan_Humphrey1. Go over, follow, say hello, see fans react, sent you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share it, subscribe, do all of that stuff. It really does help. So before you go, click thumbs up now. And that's it. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks, Dan. You guys take care. And for now, we'll see you later.
Cheers.